Hi, this is Miss Nancy at the Crown Point Community Library. Today I'll be bringing the library into your home with Peeking Through the Pages. The book I'll be reading from is called The World Between Blinks. It's written by Amy Kaufman and Ryan Groudon and published by Quill Tree Books. Now this book is about two children who go on an adventure. This boy and girl here on the cover, they are cousins, Jake and Marisol, and they travel to a land where lost things go. They go on many adventures in this land, and the biggest adventure of all is just trying to find their way home. They meet a lot of interesting people along the way, and those people help them. Some people help them, some people don't want to help them. So I'm going to read from this, and you can decide if you would like to check this book out of the library. Marisol. Marisol loved the air around the ocean. It smelled mostly of salt, yes, but there were so many other things happening inside it too. Sunscreen and crying seagulls and driftwood discoveries and waves washing castles back into sand. One breath held all of this. When Marisol was younger, she used to think that's why her lungs felt so crowded whenever her family traveled to South Carolina. But now she knew the reason was more scientific. Something to do with altitude. La Paz, her home city in Bolivia, was surrounded by mountains, and Folly Beach was, well, a beach. Every summer when Marisol Contreras Baruna went to her grandmother's house, her body had to adjust. This summer, the very first one after Nana's death, her heart was a big part of that equation. We're almost there. Her mother's accent changed too, shifting to fit the southern low country around them. It always did, as soon as the drive from the airport became green marshes stretching forever. Are you all excited? Victor, her 13-year-old brother, grunted. Ugh. Contesta, tu madre está pintada, their father chastised from the driver's seat. Victor's second grunt at least sounded like a word. No. No? Dad protested. I'm creeped out, Victor replied. Do you think the beach house is haunted now? Her mother's lip trembled in the rental car's side mirror, just above the printed words, objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. There were almost tears in her eyes, which Marisol hadn't seen since the funeral last winter. Victor, looking out of the opposite window, had no idea. Brothers are treasures. That's what Nana always told Marisol whenever she got mad at hers. Though some days, you have to hunt a little harder to see the gold. Marisol had to hunt a lot when it came to Victor. If Nana were a ghost, she wouldn't stay in the beach house, she pointed out. She'd be off having more adventures, diving with sea monsters, having a picnic on top of Mount Everest, flying to the moon. Ghosts can't fly to the moon. How do you know? Because Victor caught himself remembering, like he always did, that he was too important to argue with his little sister about ridiculous things. Never mind. Do you really have to pack up all Nana's stuff? It's going to take forever. Only the personal items, said their father. But, her brother faltered, that's everything. Mom's almost tears turned into a laugh, though it was sad still. You're right, but the realtor told us the house will be easier to sell if someone else can see themselves living in it. The marsh outside the house had changed into ocean. Blue, 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 and a glitter of sun. It looked larger when Marisol remembered. Nana's house, on the other hand, seemed smaller. There was no for sale sign yet, but that didn't stop Marisol's teeth from tightening. She didn't want to imagine a name besides Maruna on the mailbox. Couldn't think of some strangers nailing a home sweet home sign over the screen porch door. Looks like we're the first to arrive, their father announced as he pulled their car into the driveway. You have the keys, right, Amor? I did, Mom said, frowning in confusion as she dug through her purse. I thought I did. Marisol? Both parents turned in their seats, not to blame her for the missing keys, but to ask for help. Marisol was good at finding things. Keys, socks gobbled up by the washing machine, even once a friend's escaped guinea pig. It wasn't that she looked harder than other people. In fact, she barely had to search at all. It was almost as though lost stuff had a way of finding her. Marisol closed her eyes and felt for the tug that often prickled her fingertips. Sometimes the sensation was so strong it seemed as if her hand was pulled, though she'd never admitted this to anyone. She knew how it would sound. This time, the force made Marisol reach for her mother's purse. They're in the side pocket with the zipper. So they are. Thank you, Raina. The porch looked the same as it did last year, lined with conch shells and shark's teeth, wind chimes singing in the corner, sunlight flashed through the strung sea glass. speckling the wood with blues and greens. This pattern had always made Marisol think of a fairyland, which had often led to Nana telling a story about the time she stumbled across Icelandic elf folk inside a cave on a beach much stranger than Valley, with black sands and icy tides. Victor never believed the tale, but it was much more outlandish than any of the other things their grandmother did. To Nana, life had been one big adventure. There was photographic evidence all over the beach house, which Marisol studied as soon as she followed her parents inside. The oldest pictures, black and white, dated from Nana's days as a nurse during World War II. Her smile was young and brave, matching her friends who wore the same khaki uniforms. Grandpapa was there too, saluting alongside Nana's brother, who'd been lost in the war. As the hallways wound and stretched, so did the years. Nana's library held the adventures she'd shared with Grandpapa, riding camels through the Sahara, dog sledding in Alaska, canoeing on the Amazon. The photos often had maps framed next to them, yellowed with age, filled with Nana's travel notes. Sometimes she marked spots with an elaborate curling back-to-back letter C. Other times, she recorded the sights: pink dolphins, aurora borealis, sandstorm. Every time Marisol studied the landscapes using a magnifying glass her grandmother had bartered off of a Parisian bric-a-brac vendor, she found something new. Today it was white reindeer written on top of the map of Sweden that was hanging in the kitchen. Marisol had been in here hundreds of times, chatting with Nana over glasses of sweet tea, but she'd never heard about that adventure. Maybe she never would. So that's the beginning of The World Between Blinks. If you'd like to check this book out, come visit our library and check out this book and other new books. And make sure you go visit our website too to find out more about books and programs at our library. Our website is www.crownpointlibrary.org. Have a wonderful day.